To the show. I'm Joe.
And I'm Jordan. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, various other social media accounts that don't matter at all, as well as our own very meaningful Walden Radio.
Yes, hello everyone. Very good evening to you. Oh, and not to mention, we are now live on Odyssey.
And Odyssey as well. There you go. I knew I left something off. That's
Yes,
what the pause was.
We
it
like
just
Odyssey.
My normal inability to read.
We hope you're all well. The weather's taken a turn for the better for.
No, it hasn't. It's cold here.
Quite a few places. Jordan hasn't. It's not arrived there yet, so Jordan's still whinging about the cold.
It's cold. It isn't warm. It's nasty. It's pretty horrible. Admittedly, at the moment, the sun is out. But it hasn't been for most of the day. It was raining earlier on. It's just generally, it's miserable. I don't approve.
Oh, I approve. It's been a glorious afternoon.
No, this is why we should invade France. They have nice weather.
So it's France's fault.
Well, first off, yes, it is their fault. Everything is their fault. But beyond that, we should just invade and take like a nice part. We should take back Gascony. That sounds rather lovely down there. Take it over, kick them out. It'd be wonderful. Be a good time. Be like old times. That's what we need more of.
I hear that Cannes is quite nice, so yeah, I wouldn't mind going to Cannes, but
Cannes? Okay, you did say Cannes. I was uncertain if you said Cannes or if you said Canada, and your mic just broke for a second.
No, I said Cannes. Tash, are we not live on Odyssey? We should be.
Andrew said no.
Well, I said it. I put the new stream key in.
Good old Odyssey / Restream / somewhere.
Well, I don't know. Sorry everyone. I guess no Odyssey tonight then. It's a bit of a palaver setting things up on Odyssey, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's not nice and smooth.
No,
I do mean to contact Roy about this.
We have to manually update Odyssey before each live stream, and it's not a very fluid process. So it would be better with just the man. Brilliant. Hey, I'm all for that. I could do with a few more days off.
Hey, look, I have a fan. It's better than no Joe, I go, to be honest. Playing its own intro.
Oh.
It's having a moment. It's
I
being
don't
a prima
know what to say. Well. Oh, Sir Francis to the rescue. I won't have that. Right, anyway, lots of news to get through. Tons,
Indeed.
In fact.
We have a very important first one.
Yes, we do. So without further ado, let's crack on. Good evening, everyone who's joined us already. Good evening, everyone who's going to join us. We hope you enjoy tonight's stream. Let's crack on.
Stonewall. Stonewall urged teachers to stop using the term boys and girls. Because boys and girls, it forces people to adhere to normal gender stereotypes. As you well know, you all became boys and girls purely because your teachers addressed you as boys and girls.
Yes, you weren't boys and girls.
It had nothing to do with genetics. Exactly. Nothing to do with that. It's because the system, society in general, it forced you to be a boy or a girl. What these people make of the frogs, I don't know. Their mind must be blown by these things.
So, just to be clear, do you want to explain to everyone what they want to call them instead?
Learners.
Learners.
Good morning, learners. I hope you are well. I'm going to start the streams this way. Good morning or good evening, learners. I hope you're well. Welcome to This Is Why We Learn.
How condescending is that? It's very dehumanizing language. Again, that they're engaging with this kind of language with children.
Sounds a bit like an insult. Come here, you horrible little learner.
Well, it's true, actually. It is quite insulting. And considering most children, given the state of teaching these days, I would argue that most children are probably more knowledgeable than the alleged teachers.
Wouldn't be that difficult. Have you ever met a teacher?
In fact, if teachers are going to call children learners, then I suggest that children call the teachers what they really are.
I have a question about, but just in general as a chat. Why is it you can always tell who a teacher is? Like they have a weird energy about them, a weird attitude, and they carry it around with them.
Are you talking about sort of new age teachers? These
just like teachers in general.
Communists. Oh,
just teachers in general. You can always tell a teacher they're kind of humorless and weird.
The charity urged schools to remove unnecessarily gendered language. Why is it unnecessary? Instead of using he or she, you could use they. This is forcing these pronouns on children. Yes, the elbow patches, Sir Francis. Elbow patches, sandals. We're talking about
sandals.
Commies and hippies now, right?
What the hell sort of school did you go to where teachers wore sandals?
Sandals and socks. There was one teacher used to wear socks and sandals, and we never let him forget it.
Well, I'm bloody glad. That's a war crime.
It's just uncool. Do not. If any men are thinking that sandals and socks are cool, no. I'm not quite I'm a tech boomer. I'm not a boomer.
No,
I'm not quite old enough to fall into that bracket, but yeah.
Joe is a secret baby.
Socks and sandals, no, never. There is never a time when that is acceptable. Just for you men out there, it's not cool and it's not hip.
What about women who do it?
Who wear socks and sandals?
Yeah.
Why? Why would they?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I bet they do.
My stepdad's not mean, begs to differ. Oh. Ben Mew says sandals are for Arabs and plebs. Well, Ben Mew has a very strong opinion.
What about Greeks and Romans?
Yeah, but they didn't wear socks with them.
World. How do you know they didn't wear socks?
Because I've seen pictures.
Actual photographs.
Depictions.
Oh, socks and flip-flops. There you go.
Oh, wow. I don't... Spacer UK.
They have those weird socks with the special little like toe cut out. It's very disturbing. I don't approve of those at all.
I'm going to let you all into a secret now. I can't wear flip-flops either. That bit of plastic between my big toe and my next toe just weirds me out. I can't do it. And it hurts.
I hate flip-flops with just unbearable levels of despisement. I can't stand them.
Colonel Custard is asking, what about my bright red socks and my white Crocs? Oh, please don't. On the bright side, if you turn up somewhere wearing that, everyone will know who you are immediately, because I don't think I've ever heard that combination ever mentioned by anyone.
What the hell? I never knew this. This is news to me. British educational institutions have the opportunity to become a member of Stonewall School and College Champion Schools by paying a yearly fee, which can be as much as £800 plus VAT for institutions with over 2,000 pupils. What the hell? You pay? You pay Stonewall? Are you people mad?
So we pay the government. We pay the government pay the schools pay the gay agenda. Brilliant. This is no outsiders all over again.
This is like insider trading, but on steroids. I genuinely didn't know that. I'd be bloody interested to know how many parents did know that.
I didn't know it.
I don't approve. Anyway, moving on from this.
Yes, Andrew. Homeschool your children. Do it quick.
Oh, we're coming up to more reasons to homeschool.
Can I just quickly say good evening to Spacer AUK. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
That's a nice name, I approve.
It is. Carry on.
You went insane on my end there.
Shh, don't tell everyone.
Celebrity role models and school debates needed to tackle vaccine hesitancy in young people. This is because the youth are likely to rebel and refuse the vaccination, even though 70% of the population have been vaccinated. These people just can't work out numbers, apparently.
Oh, they're terrible with statistics and data. But yes.
Ironically, they need to go back to school to some basic mathematics.
So this is a targeted attack on children. This is using celebrities to influence children to take up an experimental jab, which has revealed a large number of adverse side effects, is just unimaginable. But here is where we are. And school debates, we know how this is going to go because the mainstream narrative always wins because it receives the support. If you're going to have a debate between children where one is pro-vax and another is against it, we all know exactly how this is going to end. So this is really, really unfair. And also, again, this is the state being the parent. None of this political stuff should be in schools. It's down to parents to decide what they think is best for their children.
I have a question. Is my brain broken or have they missed a word?
That
show roughly 13%. Yeah, 13% of people aged 16 to 29 in the UK about getting a COVID jab.
Yes.
The highest of any group. Journalism, everybody, journalism. This is what you are paid the big bucks for when you go off to journalism school.
I'm going
you
to
learn
fill in
how
the blank
to
and
propagandize
suggest,
without learning how to write English.
I'm going to guess that the words "are hesitant" have been missed out there.
I would
They like
agree.
this word. Vaccine hesitancy is just more nudging. We're not hesitant. We don't want them.
Yeah, we don't like them.
It's not like we need convincing to have them. I'm tired of being told by people who know nothing about me, and I'm sure you are as well, telling me what I need to think. I'm not hesitant about this vaccine, which isn't a vaccine. I'm not hesitant at all. I don't want it. I don't trust it. I don't trust that it's safe. And I certainly don't trust the people telling me I should have it. Not hesitant at all. Flat out refusing. Let's start using real words that embrace reality, shall we?
But it's okay, because if they get these sort of celebrities in, like the first transgender athlete to compete at the Olympics, all will be good. People will just line right up. Those under 29s, they'd be all in for the COVID jab.
Oh, just quickly, English Bird has a question. I don't know the answer to this. I wonder if someone does. What age do kids need their parents' permission for jabs? Because they've brought out so much legislation, I don't actually know what the answer is. I do believe it's 16, but I can't be sure. Does anyone know? Could look it up.
I would imagine it is 16. These things typically are.
Tash has nailed it. Wait till we get called vaccine deniers.
No. We won't be vaccine deniers. We'll be anti-science.
Yes, I agree, Ben Mew. It is a straw man. This clever use of words, amazingly from people who can't even journalism, are all designed to sort of trigger a reaction from us. But it's really good framing from their perspective. It's saying that we will have it. We just need convincing. We're not quite there yet. They've brought out this potentially harmful drug, and they just can't believe people are not buying it. So, anyway, back to the stories. Carry on.
1 minute. Bodiger said it's 12 here. No parental consent and won't inform parents unless the child consents. Wow. That's ridiculous.
That should be illegal.
Well, that is plainly illegal. That's insane.
So, what else can children do at the age of 12 without their parents' consent? Because this is essentially like saying to your children, go and take drugs. I'm sure you'll be fine. Andrew has a really good comment. Don't forget that every time you say science, you have to do mandatory jazz hands.
Just don't clap. Just don't clap. Whatever you do, you'll set them off. They get PTSD from something.
Good evening, Mr. 262. Good to have you on board. You're only a bit late. You've only missed a couple of stories.
Don't be late. Don't ever be late.
And good evening, Brett the Maverick. Too many people dropping to cover it up for much longer. I do agree. Too many people coming forward with stories of immediate side effects from these jabs. Colonel Custard. Oh. On the bright side, maybe you could in turn call him a reality denier. There's an idea. I don't want to cause an argument in your family. I was joking.
No, what you do is you just call him weird and tell him to just be normal. Yeah, that's my favourite answer.
Just be normal is a really... Yeah, I don't know if people know what normal is anymore.
I don't know either, but I think it's going to disarm people. Just be normal.
Yes, Ben Mew, we hate this phrase, trust the science. It's not a thing. It's a tool. It's just science. I agree. We hate that. The science.
The phrase alone doesn't make sense. It takes some doing when I point out the grammatical errors in a sentence. I can hardly string one together myself. If I can see there's an issue, there must be a massive one.
But 12-year-olds can drive. What?
Oh, that's cool as hell.
Boudica, is that true?
That's cool as hell. That's what we need more of. We need more 12-year-olds driving. I will say, in somewhere like Alberta or Saskatchewan or basically any of the prairies, it's so big. How do you have an accident there in the summer? In the winter, I can understand. It's snowy. Fair enough. In the summer, on the other hand, it's just flat roads. They're dead straight.
Well, you'd have to be a genius to have an accident in a car on an empty road, wouldn't you? I mean, if you can see for miles.
She said no. It must be said that I do believe in many states you can drive at 14.
Well,
once again, same sort of logic. Dead flat roads, dead straight, not terribly dangerous.
Plus, in rural areas, children learn to drive tractors before they drive cars.
Yep.
One Easy Money said children can have a sex change without the child's parents' consent. That's true. We found that out the hard way, didn't we? Again, Stonewall, just go and wither away somewhere under a rock you crawled out from. There you go, Sir Francis. # just be normal.
Much better. That's what I like to see. Anyway, the other thing that these scummy little scumbags are doing, they're now going to force Northern Ireland to implement abortion services sooner rather than later, because that's how you know something is moral and just. When you have to force a people to accept something, you can't just be nice about it. No.
This is the thing. I want to bring something up. It's kind of relevant to this, but not really. I'm a big sort of true crimes fan, and I like reading stories about stuff. And I've been particularly interested in the crimes that were committed in the UK during World War II. And I kind of came to this conclusion that there wasn't enough death for some people, right? And they just carried on killing. How many deaths are enough? I mean, you can call this pro-choice, you can call this what you want, but these people are essentially fighting for the right to murder babies. How many people have to die before people start to actually look at loss of life as something that's not good? I don't understand it. But going back to the point of the story, this is tyranny again. Forced. I don't understand. If you start making abortion available to everyone and you make it free, of course, nothing is free. Someone has to pay for it. Or millions of babies will pay for it. But when you make something like this free, there is the chance And studies have shown that some people will use these services as contraception. Not all people. I'm not claiming all people, all women specifically.
Well, I should hope so. But don't misgender them.
But some do. Some
I'll
do,
send
and some
Stonewall
will
after you.
continue to do so. And I do remember reading some weird, freaky thing a few years ago. There are women and men, like women and their partners, who have some kind of weird fetish for abortions.
That's disturbing.
It's disturbing and disgusting. But genuinely, there are some people who enjoy it, who think it's a cool thing. And these people are weird freaks of nature and should be ostracized from normal society. But they do exist. But it comes back to force again. It comes back to force. I remember when I first saw the crowds marching for the right to murder their children. We need to start using real words that apply to real situations. This is the right to murder children. There is no other way to describe this.
Talking of real words to describe real things. Well, I mean, they've changed the headline.
Ooh,
How
sneaky
dare they?
so-and-sos.
They keep doing it. I don't like The Independent because they keep doing this. Earlier on, they had this wonderful, yes, ad blocker detected. I don't want you to earn money off of me. Go away. They had this wonderful thing. It was like the pre-peak third wave. We're coming up to the peak of the pre-peak third wave. It's up there with their bloody, their bubble within a bubble within a bubble. Joe, do the bubble thing.
Oh, don't start me on the Christmas bubbles. Screenshot Jordan. Ben Mew is asking. We know what the story was supposed to be.
Look, if I were to take screenshots of every stupid headline, I would just have never-ending levels of screenshots. Joe takes a lot of screenshots for some reason.
Not of this, unfortunately, but I will read out the actual headline that it was.
Oh, please do.
And just let me find it.
I'm sure it was the peak of the peak. The pre-peak peak. It's like a weird rap.
It's basically there is a peak and an outbreak and a surge for every time of the year. And this was, so basically they're saying that there's a summer surge, which symptoms wise is remarkably like hay fever. There'll be a winter surge, which will be remarkably like flu.
What's the spring one going to be like? Is it going to be like a hangover?
It will be
It's just going to be completely different symptoms.
It will be the spring, won't it? I mean, they're just making up words now for stuff. Here we go. COVID News Live. UK at pre-peak stage of third wave as daily cases pass 10,000 for a second day.
I thought there was an extra peak in there. But fair enough. Pre-peak.
Pre-peak stage of the third wave.
So surely, like, pre-peak is just like, we're building up. It's not that bad yet. All is good.
On that note, Boudica, yeah, the flu was eliminated last year, but it's back. It's back now. And, flu shots are all the rage again. Because I guess there are too many flu-like symptoms, even though coronavirus is a flu. And I think reality is starting to merge with their fantasy that COVID is something separate from the flu. And now they have to accept that the flu is back.
I've just lost Mr. 262's comment, but it was funny. There's like an 11 p.m. surge, which is suspiciously like being drunk.
That one.
That was it.
Yes. Well, don't forget as well that COVID is very picky as to when and how it attacks you. If you sit in a restaurant and don't eat, you're fair game. But if you eat, it will leave you alone. Brilliant.
Yeah, if you're sitting down, that's the real key. If you sit down and it's past 9 o'clock, you're fine. Or if it's before 9 o'clock, you're fine. If you're standing up and it's before 9 o'clock, it's going to get you. After 9 o'clock, you're sitting or standing, it doesn't care, it's angry, the gloves are off. It's coming at you, bro.
I think we have a duty to provide a public service of a daily breakdown of the times when COVID gets you versus when COVID ignores you.
It could be like the talking clock thing. You know, you phone it up and it's like, yes, The time is 12:60. I was going to say 12:62, and I thought, wait a minute, 12:62 isn't the time. The time is
No, there is 12:60.
12:42. The time is 12:42, and you are not at risk. If you are in the following conditions: opted out of COVID.
Oh, if only. I think a lot of people have opted out of reality. But yes, you're right. At 12:53, however, if you're not sitting down and eating a meal with less than 6 people, you're going to die. You know that weird little girl's voice on Resident Evil? I just wish, I'd love the government to just put that message out constantly. You're all going to die down here. Just keep repeating it over and over. Why not?
I'm surprised
Ridiculous.
you played Resident Evil, I'll be honest.
I'm full of surprises.
I'm very surprised. I don't like Resident Evil. I don't like scary things.
Rob D says it's the time sponsored by Pfizer. There you go. Johnny Red Pill Seed has it. If you rub your belly and tap your head, you're immune. Thank goodness for you. We didn't know what we were going to do. There you go. We have the cure. Oh, this is a good point from Timmy. Sorry.
Go on.
Do you become immune again, says Timmy, when the clocks go back? Good question.
No, that's when you're hyper screwed then.
This is like the Gremlins movie. This always used to bug me. The rule was you don't feed them after midnight. But when can you feed them again the next day? Because technically every hour is after midnight. When does the turning into little beasts stop happening? I had to get that out there.
I would say that happens around about 8 in the morning, because that's when it's definitely no longer midnight. That's when it is morning.
Yeah, but it's no longer midnight at 1 a.m.
Yeah, but that's different. That's early morning. Even
so, it didn't say don't feed them between midnight and 8 a.m. It just said don't feed them after midnight. And essentially all of the next day and every other day thereafter is after midnight.
I'm just giving you a logical time barrier. And now you're just picking holes in it for the sake of it.
Boudica's got it right. What happens if the gremlins go to a different time zone? Say, what if they jump on a plane and they go back in time? Then what? What if they've already got a bit of chicken in their stomach?
But Roy's brought up a good point there. Roy's brought up a good point there. He said midday. Midday would obviously be the appropriate time, because you have midnight and then you have midday. That is a clear break. People often say midday.
True.
Thereby, midday is the correct answer. So between 12 in the morning and 12 in the evening, you can feed them. Or you can't feed them, rather.
Ben Muir is asking, anyone watching Africa versus the Czech Republic? Is this football, rugby? No, it wouldn't be rugby. Is this football? Be rugby.
Indeed.
Okay. No, the answer is no.
They're doing their little Neely thing. It's
oh, please. Good evening, Simon.
Don't bother watching Detritus.
Good evening, Barney. Is it GMT, Barney is asking? This is a really good question. Broken Silence says, I identify as a force field so I don't have to worry. I know, Boudica. Sometimes these things bug me. Don't even start me on a conversation about the birds. Would the government put gremlins up in hotels? Mr. 262 asked. That's the question, really, isn't it? Sorry, Barney. No. Everyone's getting irate about it. Is this still the gremlins? Sorry. Right. Okay, right. Caught up. Let's get back to the news.
Okay,
just making sure you're still there. Where did you go?
I was Googling gremlins, as I haven't seen it in decades.
Oh, bless.
Anyway, apparently over half of us would back the government delaying coronavirus roadmap, blah, 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 nobody cares. How they come out with this, though, over half of Brits, and then you look at it, according to a survey of 1,500 UK adults.
So 1,500 people represents the entire union. Don't think so. They keep doing this. They keep doing this. Do not fall for this. Do not fall for these polls. We know that these polls are usually, well, you can phrase a question in any way you want to get the data, the answer that you need. So what they're saying, when they say half of Brits, what they mean is half of 1,500 people who were polled. So in fact, what is that? 1,500, 750.
To be fair,
I would like to say
fair,
exclusive. 750 people would back the government delaying the coronavirus roadmap beyond July 19th.
Just another quick thing here. 1,500 UK adults.
Yeah, not British people.
Exactly. That does not specify citizenship. So that's just, they could be on holiday. Many of them, we hope, are on holiday. That's not the point.
Yeah, well, holiday means that you leave at the end, but it doesn't seem to happen.
Many of them are on holiday. They just don't realise yet.
Can I just point out as well, one of your bugbears, 19 July again. Where's the th? Where's the 19th?
This butchery of the English language, I can't stand it. Once again, if you're being called out by me on your use of English, you've really got a problem. You must actually be functionally illiterate if I'm giving you grammar lessons. This is not how the world should be. I'm not a grammar person by any stretch of the imagination. Also, Delta variant. I had a thing earlier on. I meant to take a picture of it. It was rather amusing. I have a cable that has the word Delta written on it. And I was going to take a picture of it. Well, it's amusing because I was going to take a picture of it and put it on Discord and say, oh no, I've got the Delta variant.
Don't tempt fate. Because if you're not sitting down having a meal when it hits you, you're in deep trouble.
Well, to be fair, I quite often stream and eat. I just haven't done that in the last couple of months. Anyway, moving on. What the hell is the next thing? The next thing is Brits who received both doses of COVID vaccine and went into contact with positive case set to avoid 10-day quarantine. Yeah, the beginning of the two-tier system.
This is an amazing nudge. The interesting thing as well is they'll probably most likely come into contact with someone who's also had it. And as we know, these jabs do not make a single bit of difference as to whether or not you catch it.
I have a question.
Go on.
I have not had a vaccine.
Ever?
Well, no, the last one. What's the one you get when you're like 12 or whatever?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Or whatever. It's probably the one that kills you a bit quicker. Anyway, this one here. Is this how vaccines are done? They pretend they're bloody Jockey Wilson stabbing you in the arm. And then they just yank it out. Has that got some frigging super glue on it or something? How is this working? Look at the technique that's going on there. There's a dart player.
There's a suggestion for the sheep this Halloween, isn't it? They should all dress up as dartboards.
Everyone is saying BCG. I don't know what BCG is. This sounds like something you'd give cattle. The BCG injection. I don't like the sound of this at all, but I also really don't like the sound of this freaking Jockey Wilson impersonator going on here. This is ridiculous.
What is BCG?
I don't know. I've never heard of this.
The only ones I can think about are polio, flu, and measles, mumps, rubella.
No gloves. Simon's nailed it. That's another great point. There's no gloves going on here.
Well, we
know nothing.
We know how many of these are fake. We know that they're hiring actors in certain parts of the world to fake these photo opportunities. We know that they've got theatrical syringes where the plunger doesn't actually plunge and the needle doesn't actually go into your skin. Tuberculosis. Thank you, Illuminatus. Thank you for explaining that. We were wondering when someone would. Thank you. Backgammon, Aramis said. I don't think it's the backgammon facts.
Do you think that when he throws it in, the person's arm, he says 180?
Oh, you didn't do it properly. It's 180. That would be amazing. That wouldn't be amazing. Yes, indeed, Barney. Rip William Shakespeare.
Oh, I forgot he died. Poor old man. He's going to be so sad. He's going to cry again. And probably
House
not.
says, I tried to come up with a good vaccine joke, but what's the point? You lot won't get it anyway. Oh, this was supposed to be serious news. I think we broke it.
No, this is never meant to be serious news.
Mr. 262 says, let's see what you could have won. Shows healthy immune system. Oh, God. That was so good.
Okay, I have no idea what the next one is. The next one, because I have a running order and I just put stupid things next to the title and I've genuinely forgotten what this one is. All of my notes says is back of the bus bigger.
Well, before you say that, real quick. Go on, sorry.
That's the only one of these side notes I can read out. The rest are much, much spicier than that.
Barney says, Bully's second prize, a vaccine a weekend for 2 in Jaywick. Now, come on, don't be mean about Jaywick. I've been to Jaywick Sands, but I don't recall much sand, I won't lie. More like Jaywick pebbles. Right, anyway, so, yes, back of the bus bigot. So, Thorpe Park says, mask-exempt guests must sit on the back on roller coasters. Do you know why? It's because the drooling sheep can't spit on you if they've got masks over their face.
I have a question before we start. Could you open this link for me? Because it breaks my audio something fierce.
Okay, send me the link.
I don't know why. Every time I open iNews, I don't get it when I open The Independent. I don't get it when I open The Guardian. When I open iNews, you stutter. And it's really weird. I half expect you to break out and say Bo Selector every now and then. It's very disturbing.
No, I'd never do that. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, it's what it sounds like. It's weird. I apologise to anyone listening on the radio. You're listening to my end of the feed. It sounds so weird.
Right. Okay, let's have a look at this. Oh, come on.
Jared, why are you using an ad blocker? You have to support independent media like The Independent.
Right, so Thorpe Park
Look at the photos after the ride.
Thorpe Park says mask exempt guests. Come on! I just got rid of you. Go away. I'm going to have to do it quick. A woman has described masks as muzzles, compared her daughter to Rosa Parks after she was made to sit on the back of a roller coaster. Oh, come on! This isn't journalism. This is just blatant shilling.
Is that the length of the article?
Thorpe Park has imposed rules that by people not wearing face masks to sit at the back of roller coaster rides. One mother reacted with fury on Twitter after, damn. Okay. You know what we need is one of those cattle auctioneers. We won't understand a word they say, but it doesn't matter.
Well, we were talking about those earlier on, aren't we?
Before
you got the idea from.
This is getting ridiculous.
I'll read. 1 minute. I'll read. I just won't share screen. I think maybe that's what's breaking it. Just whatever you do, don't say Bo Selector. That will actually freak me out. Oh my God, it did it right then. Oh, it's so weird. I hate it. Venting of frustrations on Twitter, woman, my 18-year-old park today. What the hell? My 18-year-old at Thorpe Park today, mask exempt, had to ride at the back of the rides. Didn't something similar to you're laughing, stuttering is so weird. Didn't something similar happen years back on buses? Yes, it did. Also known as the good old days.
Well, I'm not being funny, but segregation worked. There was far less crime.
The woman, the woman who referred to masks as muzzles, Joe, have we found your alt account or something? Claims they're dangerous. in separate tweets, suggesting the move as a form of segregation. It's not a form of segregation. It is literal segregation. It is the definition of segregation. Why is this in quotations? It's factual.
So just as an example then, so say someone's on this roller coaster and they puke and they rip off their mask and the wind catches it and it blows down the back of the line and it slaps a maskless person in the face. They're covered in some vaccine puke and now they're covered with just spike proteins and puke and vaccine poison. Brilliant. The obvious answer here is boycott Thorpe Park. If they cannot treat people like human beings, they do not deserve your money. Ben Mew, we missed your comment. Let me go and find it. I do apologise. This is why Jordan does the links so that I don't miss them. The comments. There we go.
Now swap over.
I don't remember putting on 2-speed. I still wasn't fast enough for that stupid ad blocker. Right, okay, let's get rid of this one.
And you can put me back.
And this one. Here we go. Back to normality. You going to read this one?
Sorry, it was siren. It was weirdly disturbing.
Oh my God.
COVID-19.
Back on the road.
Ambulance, as I like to call them. Quarantine-free travel for fully vaccinated. Absolutely something government working on. Do you know what we used to call this, Hancock? We used to call this normality. You're literally saying you're working towards something we already had and something that you're going out of your way to make sure people can't engage with, and then standing there acting like you're some sort of saviour. Or we're working really hard to give you the thing that you always used to have and used to be able to do, and suddenly arbitrarily we decided you can no longer do. We're working really hard to give you that right back.
Well, can I just bring up an obvious point here? We're talking about travel. We're talking about leaving a country, entering another. How on earth are UK government going to influence that? Of course, if you see the New World Order that's been put into place, when you're seeing the World Economic Forum, when you're seeing the Great Reset, there won't be individual nations. All of these nations are working in conjunction to strip you of your rights, strip you of freedom, impose the most Machiavellian tyranny. Sorry, I choked then on that word. I don't know why. And they're all working in tandem. And if people do not see this yet, then just, for goodness sake, even legacy media is covering it. I feel like I'm drunk, and I'm not. I promise I'm on coffee. Even the mainstream media are covering this. Every country is in tandem. All of this, oh, well, this is a red zone and this is a green zone and you can travel here, but you can't travel here. It's all designed to mess with your head. It's all designed to set you up, put that hope back in your life, and then wait till the very last minute and snatch it away. This is what they do.
Don't you know they care about you a great deal?
Okay.
They care about you so much that they'd give you contaminated blood. They give school pupils contaminated blood specifically.
Well, they really care about our children, that's for sure. Aramis just summed up my last speech. Oh, and I jumped. There you go.
Wrong one.
There you go. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
That was it. That was my segue.
So I've noticed there have been a number of worst treatment disasters in NHS history coming out, haven't there? Remember the one where they gave people AIDS in the hospital with blood transfusions?
That was the same sort of thing, I suppose.
And then there's the one where they neglected this child to such a degree that it died when it shouldn't have. So those children were offered treatment for haemophilia from 1974 to 87. So they've basically given HIV to children.
The remarkable thing is, it's not even as if this is right at the very, very, very beginning of the AIDS thing. If this was right at the beginning of the AIDS thing, you could say, okay, yeah, sure, fine, fair enough. You know, they didn't really know. They had no way of knowing, kind of. And now, But so when you read things like this, it lasted all the way up until 87.
Yes.
They was well into it. They knew all about it by then. They had already spent billions upon billions researching it.
Can we just
And they
point
still
out
did it.
Can we just point out as well that with HIV, it takes a while for your symptoms to show, proving once again why you should not take part in a clinical trial. It's taken them from 74 to 87 to stop doing this. And yet people are taking something that is part of a clinical trial. There is no long-term data. Are we going to have, is this going to be the news in 20, 30 years' time, that the worst treatment disaster in NHS history will actually turn out to be this clinical trial that they're inflicting on people and children?
Another thing that kind of fits along this is the mad cow disease.
Yes.
Because mad cow disease came around. That was in the food system for a long while. They knew about that for many years and they did nothing.
Absolutely.
But those prions which act up, they can stay dormant for your entire life, I believe.
Yes.
But the actual damage that they cause can very much stay dormant for about 50 years. So in the next 20, 30 years, we're going to start seeing more of these sort of things, more of that mad cow disease that we didn't really have back in the, when was it, the mid to late 90s, wasn't it? Was it a little earlier? There must be a bit earlier, late 8. No.
I thought it was later.
It was certainly up until 2002 because I remember the Six Nations was messed around that year.
It was just an excuse for the French to take a massive dump on us, wasn't it? Blockades and boycotts.
Oh, that was it. That was it. The French, they liked to. That was during their period when they had a little bit of a backbone. They were going on strike over petrol prices constantly. Ironically, pushing our bloody petrol prices up.
Oh, don't even start me on the price of petrol. I just quickly want to mention a comment from Roy Bob here. Anyone read what the most intelligent guy in America said about it being more likely that it's mass sterilization? I have read this, and I think he makes some very good points. But the reality is nobody knows, because everyone's guessing, because nobody knows.
By most intelligent guy in America, do we mean Sniffer Joe?
No, we mean actually off the scale, intelligence-wise.
I don't know. Do you mean Elon Musk? I genuinely have no idea.
No, I don't know his name. He's not someone particularly famous.
His name is the smartest man alive. How do you not know his name?
Well, he's the smartest man in America.
200 IQ. Big brain boy.
But even so, it could be master. I mean, look, if the population is a global, sorry, if the point is global depopulation, and that's a 95% reduction in population, then sterilization or death, the effect will be the same. Sterilization would obviously be better from an optics perspective, because some people already can't have children. And you would have to find actual demonstrable proof that the reason you are sterile is because of a specific thing. So it's very, very hard to prove in that case. Certainly much less optically harmful than deaths, because deaths are wide-ranging. They affect people. There's a process with death. There's funerals, and there's funeral homes, and there's obituaries and notices and papers. If someone's sterile, that's pretty much private business that they'll only discuss with their specialist or their GP. So there is a way for them to do that where the general public wouldn't necessarily know the extent of it until they're affected by it themselves. And even then, it's like with anything else, like with the lottery winner. You don't know how many people win the lottery because you can't possibly know all these people. Maybe nobody wins the lottery. Maybe all of those people are fake. Bazooka Joe says, is it me or do people seem to be under some sort of spell these days? It's mental. Agree. It's not just you.
According to JD and Illuminatus, it was Michael Landon, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You just kept going. I couldn't interrupt.
Sorry. And speaking of donating blood, apparently gay men can now donate blood. How progressive. Are they not the most at risk for HIV?
No comment. Anyway, moving on to the political solution that is not and never will be, never has been. The Electoral Commission to be stripped of power to prosecute after probe into Boris Johnson's flat makeover. Basically, the EC made Boris angry, just like the Independent has made me angry with their nonsense bloody ad blocker.
That's a brilliant segue.
Thank you very much. It's almost as if it was planned, but it really wasn't. It's almost as if whenever these people are threatened just slightly, they slap down on it as hard as they possibly can in order to get rid of it. It's why there is not, will not, and never has been, never will be any sort of solution to this that they control.
Well, this is the thing. No political solution is not just a trite phrase. I mean, the fact that the so-called, the Electoral Commission is supposed to be somewhat independent. It's supposed to hold these people to account. But the people they're supposed to hold to account have the power to take away their power.
Indeed.
It's,
so that shows you how powerful it is.
Yeah, exactly. I just have to comment on this pop-up from the Independent. Advertising helps fund our truly independent journalism. Okay.
Independent in name only.
Independent, but we're funded by all the crazy communists of the world. Brilliant.
That's the Guardian. Don't besmirch the Independent.
It's just truly amazing. It's like it's the irony show. Think about all your mainstream media and their names. The Independent, the Guardian, the Times is pretty neutral, I suppose.
The Times is a lovely name, I think. News of the World used to have a lovely name.
News of the World used to investigate actual paedophiles and report them to the police. Of course, little did they know that they were reporting, people to people that were part of the people. But
they should have been reporting to Clarissa Dick.
Cressida Dick. Oh, just
Cressida. Thank you for flips. Look, I only remember people's names when I respect them. I don't respect her, thereby I don't remember her name. Simple, problem solved.
That's not true. You know my name. Ha.
I respect you. Do you know who else's name I know, but I do not respect, though?
Go on.
Sniffer Joe.
Isn't it Slippery Joe now?
No, Sniffer Joe. Or Tripping Joe, maybe. Yesterday I was on something on Telegram and I saw the wonderful meme, flipping heck, Newsweek.
Wow.
Poxy bloody pop up. I saw something wonderful yesterday with the Biden, who was superimposed onto a Tony Hawk's game. It was so good. It was highly amusing. Anyway, Office for Victims of Immigrant Crimes, opened by Trump and closed by Biden administration.
Well, we're not going to be able to read any further, but basically this is saying, so either immigrants never commit crimes. Well, if they're illegal immigrants, they've already broken into your country, so they're criminals by default. Or victims of immigrant crimes should just shut up and go away because these poor people are oppressed and we can't have anyone say differently.
There we go. Just did the refresh trick and it worked.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
So how long has Joe Biden been in the stolen seat? This was pretty quick.
Alleged.
Oh, come on. Right.
Keep in mind, YouTube.
How long has the alleged president been in the alleged stolen seat?
No, the very truthful. Victim of Immigration Crime Management Office, voice.
Really?
That's very Trump.
And they've just shut down your voice. You couldn't make this up.
They gave you a voice and they shut it down. Talking of things that you can't make up, actually, thank you for that lovely segue. We're just segueing all along today. We should buy stocks in the company. Democrat senator refuses to leave all-white private beach club despite championing racial justice. Basically, same old.
NIMBY.
I wasn't going to say NIMBY. I was going to say what's good for me isn't good for thee sort of thing.
Well, they don't
Good for
practice
me,
what
but
they
not for
preach.
thee.
Yes. So this man's all like, yeah, pro-diversity, but I don't want it. This is your typical Democrat. When people have the money to decide where they live and how they live, it's very easy to inflict misery on other people who don't have the same choices. And here's a prime example.
They're all the same. Who would ever possibly have seen that coming?
I remember just reading. There was a period a few months ago. Jordan and I were just going through petitions on the .gov website, and there was one petition that all the MPs should have the jab first. They shut it down. They said it was undemocratic or something. It was amazing.
The right to choose is above all things.
Yes, that's
Until
right.
we decide it isn't.
They basically said it was tyranny to force MPs to have the jab first. In so many words, which I thought was amazing.
It really wasn't far off of that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it really wasn't totally far off at all.
But I'm a firm believer that if you are an individual or part of a group that wants to force social change that you know is harmful, it should be inflicted upon you first. You live with it, and then there definitely should be a public consultation about all of this, and it's never going to happen. And Brexit was probably the last referendum we'll ever have.
Okay, this is astounding. This actually gets worse the more you read it. I didn't realise this part. I'll be honest, I didn't read it. I saw the headline. I thought, heck yeah, gotta have some of that. Apparently this private beach club, refuses to accept anyone who's not white. Go Local Providence, a local publication in Providence, Rhode Island, confronted the geezer, Mr. Whitehouse, not brother of Bob Monkhouse, I'll have you know, though the name is very similar, in 2017 about his membership at this club, which does not allow minorities into its ranks.
His quote is interesting.
I think it would be nice if they changed a little bit, but it's not my position. That's a very political answer.
Isn't it?
I think it would be nice if there was change, but I can't do anything. Sorry.
Again, it's easy to ask other people to change if you know that they're absolutely going to tell you to do one.
Exactly.
This is the nicest way for him to say, I kind of, it'd be good if they changed, but I'm not going to ask them to.
Jess has pointed out something really bloody good here. His name is very fitting.
Mr. Whitehouse, yes. Well,
At
White.
every level.
It should be White Club, shouldn't it?
This man.
But
I know nothing about him. He could be an absolute bellend. The fact that he's a politician says he probably is. This man should run for president. We need to get Mr. Whitehouse into the White House. He's named after him. Come on. How much better can it get?
I think, though, that this is the true face of the Dems. All of this sort of promoting misery on others is what they live for, but they won't inflict it on themselves. And it's interesting as well to notice that this man will absolutely fight for this in your neighbourhood, in your school, in your social club. I will say, though, go Local Providence, go you. Good for sticking. You're a private business. You can do what the hell you want.
Damn right.
And good for you for standing for your principles. There are lots and lots and lots of Asian and Black and various other ethnic minority specific exclusive groups and clubs.
Mm-hmm.
This is not an issue. The fact that I can't stand the Democrats is an issue, but this club doing what it's doing, not an issue. People who choose to pay their fees and be a member of this club know exactly what they're getting for their money. Good for them.
Exactly. But it just goes to show that these people have no moral sense whatsoever. They literally will go where the wind blows, and that is exactly what our good friend Burkeboy has gone on to do.
Oh, God.
Former Speaker and Conservative MP John Burkeboy joins Labour.
This person is such a weasel.
It must be said, what an absolute Burke. Just look at this picture.
For For the British people in the chat, can we have a 1 in the chat if during the great Brexit debate you absolutely despised this little rat?
I'm not even going to preface that with an alleged. He's not an alleged rat, it's proven.
Well, rat deserting the sinking ship. So the upshot of this entire non-story is this. He started off as a Tory. He became so progressive that he started trying to undermine Brexit, despite the fact that the public wanted Brexit. He then got really annoyed with the Tories because they denied him a peerage. So he lobbied Jeremy Corbyn for a peerage. And there's lots of evidence to support that, emails and various other things. And now
why are you spoiling the segue?
I don't know. There's so many stories. I forgot we had the other one. But anyway, now you don't need to cover it. Anyway, so basically, he lobbied Jeremy Corbyn for a peerage. Jeremy Corbyn, of course, didn't give him a peerage. I don't know why. And now John Ratface isn't getting one from Labour either. But he's joined the Labour Party because he's so desperately annoyed with the Tories.
Burke-Boy is said to have developed a close relationship with Jeremy Corbyn's team. As you do.
I bet he did. The point is that as Speaker of the House, he should have remained unbiased and truly independent. He didn't. And he tried to undermine, I hate to use the word, democratic process in this country of ours that's run by tyranny now. But at least the illusion of democratic process, he tried to undermine it. So, yep, bye-bye, rat weasel. You can go and join the mayor.
You can't have 2 rat weasels. We're going to get very confused.
Yeah, we can have rat weasel, like first name rat, surname weasel, and then we can have mayor rat weasel, which is one word.
No, I don't like that at all. No, he's Burke-Boy. Burke-Boy is an acceptable name.
Maybe.
This is all apparently because the Conservative Party are reactionary, populist, nationalistic, and sometimes even xenophobic.
I want to know how anyone can call the Conservatives nationalistic.
I don't really understand how any of those things can be a problem. First off, this populistic thing. Surely a government should be populistic. It should be trying to do what the people want. Like, what sort of weird entity is it where the government does what it thinks is best and ignores the public? And then if you try and do what the public says, you're a populist. Like, that's how incredibly arrogant these people are. But getting back to it, them being reactionary, populistic, nationalistic, and sometimes xenophobic, this is apparently how they're going to keep the Brexit backing voters. Because they're anti-woke. Because it's apparently 2016, and that's what people care about. They care about being anti-woke. Although I suppose, to be fair, the normal population may well do that.
They're not anti-woke, though, are they? Because every agenda that has been put out by the nutters on the left, the nutters on the so-called right have embraced it fully. They may not be coming up with these ideas, but they are certainly not standing against them. Right, let's cover this one.
The government's anti-woke agenda is an attempt to hold on to votes from those who backed Brexit, according to a polling expert.
A polling expert, okay.
I don't... these people just don't get it. I don't think they do it anyway. Maybe it's us. Maybe we're too far down the rabbit hole and we don't get it.
Maybe.
But I don't think at this moment in time the woke/anti-woke thing is what's getting people. Maybe there is a section of the voting population who do care about that to this extent.
Or maybe, as before, and as again in the future, people are still voting for the least worst option. Because there is nothing truly good to vote for anymore, anywhere.
Well, as previously proven, there's no point. You know, we've seen them flip-flop time and time again. We've seen them restrict powers from things that are basically weak and irrelevant anyway.
Yes. I mean, this is all theatre. When people like this, when the media promote someone like this person, or like Blair, they know people despise them. They know this. This is another way to try and, to use their word, trigger us. Well, Rob D's brought up a good point. Populist means for the people.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't argue that the Conservative Party is for the people when they are essentially culling the people. They are culling their freedom. They're culling their rights and their choices. And no, of course they're not populist. But this is something people like to throw into the ring to say, well, you know, they just choose the opposite of what they are, which begs the question. If the Tories are populists, then Labour are not for the people? Why don't Labour describe themselves as populists?
Labour say for the many, not the few. They used to say
the
for
many
the people.
what?
Well, you know,
What?
the many bankers.
Many dingy people. I mean, what do they even mean? What? That's such a wishy-washy phrase.
Do you know what I'm for? Where's the picture? Where's the picture, you scum? There it is.
Video loading. Oh my God. Okay, we had to bring this up.
That's what I'm for. I'm all about this. Give me baby boys.
This is, oh God, imagine being born and being likened to Boris Johnson. What a stain on your character from the moment you're born.
Who is that geezer? Rob Lydon, isn't it?
What about him?
I know, is that the geezer I'm thinking of? The punk guy with the hair?
Oh, that's Johnny Lydon.
Oh, well, you know, close enough. Rob Lydon, Johnny Lydon, close enough. Is he not a bit like that?
I don't know. I hate that mop of hair. Oh, English Bird says it most probably is Johnson's. It's unnatural. Just imagine, giving birth is not a pleasant time. Having to push that mop of hair out as well as everything else. No tar. The only thing that could be worse is an afro.
Well, for many reasons.
That's a good point, English Will. Seems like the doll toy with big hair from the 80s and 90s, yes. Johnson and Johnson, sorry. It's real, Jess. Truly, we're as amazed and repulsed as you.
There's video. Should we just jump straight to the hair thing, considering we've already brought the hair up?
Yes.
And I've already taken a mild pop at afros. This here is the level of oppression that these people are under. Here we go. My 5-year-old son came home from his school in tears and said they hated his afro hair. To be fair.
Hang on, he said he hated his hair.
Oh, so he hated his hair. My apologies.
So nobody else did?
No.
So afro hair oppression and discrimination is real. He's oppressing himself.
What I was going to say, well, it's self-internalized oppression, isn't it? What I was going to say is, who hasn't said they hate afros? And then I misread.
Well, even black people don't like afros. They spend all this money bleaching their hair and straightening it, and let's not forget the Gorilla Glue lady. I mean, come on, she wanted her hair flat so badly, she glued it to her head.
The Gorilla Glue, I forgot about her. I forgot that was a thing that happened once.
Oh, actually, just on the Gorilla Glue lady, good news, everyone. She's made a business out of... Do you remember she threatened to sue Gorilla Glue and they paid her off anyway because they're a bunch of cucks? Well, she used that money and invested in a business.
Oh, what did she invest in?
A hairdresser. So now she can glue everyone's hair. Brilliant. I wonder how many people would trust her with their hair after what she did.
What the hell? Of all businesses to go into, that ain't the one, surely.
It's amazing.
Not. Where's the self-awareness?
I don't know.
Just
How has she got any customers?
Who is her customer? That's a much better question. It must be one customer. I refuse to believe there's multiple.
Maybe it's people who can't read, who don't know about the glue fiasco.
I'm sorry, there needs to be some sort of crossover between Gorilla Glue Lady and Ain't Nobody Got Time for That Lady. There's got to be. We got to get these two in business.
Blood and braces, sir, says now she's stuck her feet together. Classy bird. Her mum is her customer. Oh, that's a bit harsh, Philomena. I don't know. Would she do that to her own mother? Then again, she did it to her own head. She'll come unstuck. So basically, just going back to that story with that little boy real quick, he essentially went to a school with other people as a mixed race child. Nobody else looked quite like him, and now he hates himself.
Just like I hate independence ad blocking message.
So welcome to our future, because that's what they're doing to our children. Culture wars row over parliamentary reports attack on use of term white privilege. This is very interesting. We never thought that people would take this stand. And it's not quite as clear-cut as you would hope. Jordan, do you want to read this?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
I find this sort of thing really interesting because it's kind of proof that this specific subject has made a lot of headway. Hell of a lot of headway. They wouldn't have admitted this 5 or 10 years ago. Or 5 years ago. I don't think white privilege was really a thing 10 years ago. But 5 years ago, they definitely wouldn't have admitted it.
Well,
Lawrence Ox got booed and hissed at for suggesting white privilege wasn't a thing. And now we've got MPs saying the same thing. It's rather interesting.
But we all know there's no such thing as white privilege. There is class privilege. There is financial privilege. There's no such thing as any other type of privilege. Unless you are describing people who just want to be with people who are similar to them, in which case every ethnicity has privilege, regardless of the other stuff. I just want to point out one thing about this. So there was an education select committee, and they were talking about the fact that this white privilege has been used to hold white children back. In a highly unusual move, the committee split along party lines, with Labour members refusing to back the publication of a report that raised questions over whether bodies which use the white privilege terminology should continue to receive funding from public sources. Typical. Labour do not like taking away this weapon, this weaponized phrase. Should people who use white privilege be funded by us, the taxpayer?
I would say, to be fair to these Labour MPs, if they did vote to take it away, or to release the report, or any of that jazz, they would have had David Lammy come after them. Now, can you imagine a more frightening sight? There you are, you're just minding your own business, walking through the halls of Parliament, and suddenly behind the corner you see David Lammy coming at you.
Well, if David Lammy was running towards me, I'd run anyway.
I would as well. He looks rather sweaty at the best of times. I think him running might really tip him over the edge.
I think he's on steroids, but he got gypped because they're not muscle steroids; they're like chub steroids, and his neck is just getting thicker and thicker. But he's not actually.
Joe.
Yes.
It's called the learning steroid. That's what he's on. Look at him. The man is learned.
Next, he'll be telling us he's actually English and his real name's William Shakespeare, right?
Your favourite picture is obviously Smoking Greta. This may well be mine. This is such a good picture. I love it.
How are those reparations going, Lammy? Are you English today, or Jamaican, or Ghanaian, or whatever you are? Have you paid yourself yet? Idiot. But yes, so basically, this is an important breakthrough in that despite everything that's gone on, all this tyranny that's gone on, these people are still bowing to public pressure. They know if we kick off there is going to be actual problems and trouble like they haven't seen. They know this. But it's interesting what you said. Yes, a couple of years ago, they never would have conceded this point. And it's interesting how this sort of what goes around comes around. It's kind of a cycle. And of course, you can't talk about poor oppressed white children without someone whining about poor oppressed ethnic children. So here we go. Ethnic minority children may be disproportionately impacted by COVID-19. Study. Brilliant. Well, there's all the proof you need.
I have a comment, Andrew. If David Lammy was a wrestler, do you think his wrestling name would be the Laminator?
Do you know what? He looks so greasy. He looks like he's been laminated, doesn't he?
That's what I'm laughing at. He looks like he's been laminated. It's so shiny. It's constantly shiny.
Barney says I'd laminate the git. Yes, outrage with a smirk. Yeah, that's a really good point. He's never really truly outraged by anything. Again, if you're outraged by things that are happening in a country you chose to live in, there's the door. Bye-bye. You've not only made our country worse for you with all this behaviour, but you've made it worse for us. You've walked into our homes and demanded it change for you, and you've made it worse. This is why you weren't here before, and it was great. But yes, Race Beta Lammy will definitely jump on this, I'm sure. It will be on our next news segment, I'm sure. So how are these poor little darlings being oppressed then?
Well, they've been made to wear masks, which is a pretty big thing. Once again, if you are able, please do not send your children to school because they have to do this sort of thing. This is not natural. This is not normal.
So ethnic minority children have to wear masks and no one else does? Is that what they're claiming?
No.
Oh.
That's just a picture. Where was this claimed?
Ethnic minority children impacted more by COVID. I want to know how.
Because they're in hospital more. Higher proportions of ethnic minority children in England tested positive for coronavirus than white children, with Asian children more likely to be admitted to hospital.
I wonder if that's because we're not all the same and we have different DNA and we have different biological makeup. Some of us are more immune to things than others. I suggest all this mixing is terrible.
I wonder if it's because we consume milk.
Well, the lactose intolerance thing is an Asian thing, isn't it? Sickle cell is an African thing.
Indeed.
So, yeah, because different races have different genetic profiles.
There is also the other aspect of this, in that we're able to get vitamin D from our sun. They're not. Yes. Depending on where they're from, they're very much not. Like if you're someone like from Sudan, for example, you're very, very dark. Very dark. You come to this country, it can't be good for you because that sun is not going to be able to penetrate your skin. You're perfectly suited to where you're from, but you come up here, you're just not going to get anything out of it. It's too goddamn dim here.
So is it because they can't absorb vitamin D, or is it because they've had so much where they came from that when they come here, they're starved of it? Do we know?
I would imagine it's because they can't absorb it. It's not really a vitamin that...
So they absorb it at a slower rate, which is why they need sub-Saharan temperatures.
It's nothing to do with temperatures.
Well, they need more sun, don't they?
Yeah, but not temperature. Temperature doesn't matter. It's just the intensity of the sun being able to penetrate their skin.
Wow. It's like they're thick-skinned. Definitely not. So Francis says, whatever, go away. Pretty much sums up this whole article. Well said. Okay, what else have we got?
There was one other thing. I don't know whether it was the shipping thing. I don't know whether I want to cover that tonight or tomorrow.
It's up to you.
I'm running this through the old brainstem.
What about a generic coverage of the links between what's happening?
The generic coverage of the links between what is happening. Okay, you're going to have to give me a generic coverage of the sentence
The shipping,
that just spoken.
the shipping, the freight, the supply chains, the manufactured food shortages, the culling of animals, the
But you want me to
destruction
just
of
sum it all up?
Just make the link for people. We've studied enough of this. Although I pretty much just did it.
Oh, also, 1 second. Bazooka Joe. That I feel sorry for you on that one, mate. My dad has it. Oddly enough, hell of a lot of cricketers have it. No real idea why. I just know that an awful number of them do have it. Like Haggers has it. Jeremy
What is
Colney
it,
has it.
for those of us who don't know?
I don't know what it's called. My dad calls it Dibidopotis disease because he can't say the name of what it actually is. Can you see where I've developed my own linguistic ability? But basically, it's the thing that it turns your hands into claws. It constricts the sheathing of the tendons. They get tight and they constrict. It's literally it's why I constantly stretch my hands. I'm not on camera often enough for people to realise, but I basically spend my life stretching my hands and forearms. There you go, Diplodocus disease from Barney.
Diplodocus.
Yeah, see, Diplodocus.
Isn't that a dinosaur? Exactly. It was a they call it Diplodocus now, don't they? When I grew up,
Diplodocus.
It's Diplodocus. They've just renamed it. They've just made it sound different phonetically. When I was growing up, it was called Diplodocus.
What is a Diplodocus?
It's a leaf-eating dinosaur, like a brontosaurus.
Is that the one with the little the spines on its back?
No, that's the Stegosaurus.
The Stegosaurus is cool. I approve of the Stegosaurus.
But it looks like a brontosaurus, to give you an idea.
Dupotrens or something. Okay, so everybody gives up on what this is called, hence why my dad calls it Diplodocus disease. Good enough.
Do you think he saw us? Ben Mew. T-Rex hands. Oh, bless. There you go, English bird. There you go, to picture it for you. Big ones that were in the trees in Jurassic Park, or they eat from the trees. The big ones with a tail and a long neck. Yes? No?
Do you know, let's just Google this and find out. I can't remember what this one is.
Illuminata says Diplodocus or Diplodocus doesn't exist anymore.
The big boys.
It was renamed Apatosaurus.
Why didn't you just say what it was? It's the big boy.
What do you mean?
The big boy. That's what it is. It's the big boy.
Oh, God.
This is all you needed to say.
I don't use your baby language for stuff.
It's not baby language. Look at it. It's the big boy. That's what it is. It's big. It's probably a boy. Has to be a boy when he's that big.
How do they breed?
Well, they have smaller ladies, obviously.
Smaller ladies. Okay, Illuminatus has some actual information here. It says they found out they were the same species and Apatosaurus was discovered first. Thank you very much for that.
I don't approve. First off, what is going on with Muhammad Ali here? He's got a proper little fist.
Looks a bit aggro there. Mr. 262 says, oh, Apatosaurus, did they find fossils in Ireland?
Why have they done this? They've got like a proper little fist on him. This is Muhammad Ali and George Foreman.
They look a bit aggressive. They're normally portrayed as quite gentle. Although you can be gentle when your penis is the size of an elephant's trunk. I don't know, but he's pointing at the meteor, says Roy. It's amazing. I love education. I love education. Dragon Energy has a good question. How the hell can they mate? Lie down on the ground next to each other. Surely one would crush the other.
No, they just do it like a giraffe.
How do giraffes mate?
like an horse, but with a longer neck.
What does a neck got to do with anything?
Well, it's more foreplay, obviously, isn't it?
Richard Gullick is asking, what is hair oppression? You'll have to watch the stream back, I'm afraid. But apparently it's just a child oppressing themselves. It's kind of a long story.
Long and the short. We were getting into the food thing, the food shortage. I've decided that we're going to cover this properly tomorrow because it's more tomorrow.
Yes.
Boldness.
Hair oppression. It's been a really weird week in the news, purely because we have so many more stories than we've been able to cover this evening. So unusual for us, but we're not going to have a community stream tomorrow.
I thought we were.
Well, we are, but it's also going to be a /news stream because we've got other stuff we want to cover. So we'll still be here, same time, same place, but we're going to cover the rest of the news because we do feel it's important to share this.
Well, good. Then that other story could actually be like the community story. Okay, fair enough. That makes sense.
So yes, and then we're going to talk about the food shortages and all of the efforts of Globo Homo to basically reduce the food that you have access to and force you to eat the food they want you to eat, which is full of toxins and God knows what else. So that's what we're going to cover tomorrow. So it's going to be a bit of a mishmash. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. We hope to see you there. And yes. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. Can't believe it's 9:00. It's amazing going live on Odyssey, except it didn't work tonight. We don't have to cut out after an hour so that we can get it uploaded. I don't know what happened with Odyssey tonight. I do apologise to everyone.
We will work it out.
We will fix it. Yes, we need to get back to Roy, and hopefully Roy can help us. Very, very grateful for your support. Thank you as always. And just a quick reminder for everyone, This Is Why We Dig this Thursday. So it's not the Make Do Amend stream. If you have any gardening questions, it will be Jordan and Jonathan hosting. So we hope to see you there too. We will be back tomorrow. Take care all.
Indeed. Bye for now.